My name is Melissa Katz, and I'm 19 years old. I'm currently an urban elementary education major at the College of New Jersey, enrolled in a 5-year master's program. Much of the commission report, instead of focusing on the issues surrounding state-mandated high-stakes standardized tests, focuses on classroom and district testing. Quoting, "We believe that if schools aren't vigilant, they could very well be putting together an assessment structure that is redundant and not efficient," Education Commissioner David Hesby said. This entirely misses the main issue, which are the state-mandated high-stakes standardized tests being implemented with absolutely no empirical, peer-reviewed research to suggest any value to learning whatsoever. Planned and executed correctly, school and district assessments are teacher-created, authentic assessments in which teachers therefore are actually writing the questions and can use the tests for valuable feedback. Teachers not only get valuable feedback, but they also get immediate and timely feedback. They see the student responses and can plan their lessons accordingly. If the entire class misses number 3, for example, then the teacher knows that's a topic that needs further exploration and examination in the classroom. Should individual districts and schools look at their assessment structures? Of course. It's always important to review that. But again, that is not the main problem here, nor should it be the main focus of this commission. Rather, the main problem, as stated above, is state-mandated tests that give little to no information to teachers, schools, or parents, use our kids as guinea pigs for Pearson, as money-making tools that purposely fail students, so therefore Pearson can then sell the remediation products that students will be forced to use. That sort and label kids into tracks and remediation courses without consideration of other performance measures. The list of issues with high-stakes standardized tests goes on, and that includes teaching to the test and simply being unfair to many students. The report, in summary, says there is too much school testing. This is concerning to anyone who knows a thing or two about education, especially in that it seems this report is suggesting that down the line, we should give up the happenings in the classroom in favor of a state takeover of all testing. Basically, we should eliminate what districts value, authentic teacher-created assessment, in place of what the state and federal government value. The tests and quizzes given in the classroom, those that actually give instantaneous feedback to students, teachers, and parents, are being blamed as the problem. In what world does it make sense to give a test where no one sees the questions, especially for the teachers who therefore don't know where students are struggling, nor the correct answers? All that is received is a score, a meaningless number that in no way informs instructions or helps analyze a student's learning 6 months after the test is actually taken. So the question becomes, the state wants the districts to, quote, review the universe of tests and quizzes being given in the classroom with the goal of developing a coordinated, integrated assessment structure and schedule. Do they want to tell teachers in local districts when they are allowed to test and quiz? Some may say, oh, that's a complete exaggeration, but I'm guessing it's not far from the truth, because the issue here really is local control. The state is looking to turn our argument about high-stakes standardized testing to make it seem as if we are against all assessment, and that is not true. Teachers know what the best way to fairly and appropriately assess students for the purpose of information to help guide the next steps of instruction. We are not just fighting for our kids here. We are fighting for all kids, for the foundations of what we know as public education, and for democracy. Further, the fact that the report cites the culture of testing and test preparation implies that schools have chosen to give so many tests. Many times, these tests at a local level come from the constant demand for data to prove schools are doing what they are supposed to be doing. With the immense amount of high stakes attached to these tests, it is naive to believe that teachers and schools would not engage in some form of test preparation with so much on the line. Teachers and schools' hands are tied. Even while knowing that these tests are developmentally inappropriate, taking away from authentic learning, and a larger part of the attempted takeover and privatization of public education, they are stuck with a dilemma: continuing on with instruction as usual or prepare kids for the test. Many teachers opt for the latter, as it would be unfair to their students not to prepare them for the test in some way. It is the ultimate dilemma: to do what a teacher knows is professionally right, or to do what they feel they have to do for their students. Test preparation has gone far beyond even the typical workbook preparation and practice tests. Now, in my district of South Brunswick, classroom tests, those that have nothing to do with the state tests, are being aligned to the format and structure of PARCC, so students become familiar with aspects of the state testing, such as having a drag and drop feature, ordering of events, and choosing the main 2 events as just some examples. Nowhere in the equation of the foundation of education is standardization. Standardized testing, standardized curriculum, standardized teachers, nor standardized students or standardized learning. We are entirely focused on the wrong measures here. Standardized tests tell us nothing about student learning. We are letting the idea that every moment has to be measured and accounted for in the name of quantitative accountability measures and schooling get in the way of real education. Post yesterday's testimonies, Commissioner Hespy asked to be seeking more solutions. Well, we know the solutions. First and foremost, end the high-stakes testing madness. Not just PARCC, but the overall reliance on these unproven high-stakes standardized tests that only work to destroy public education. We can easily use the NAEP test to get the information we need nationally, and teachers should be the ones assessing our students in the classroom. There's also the option of grade span testing with absolutely no high-stakes attachment for students, teachers, or schools. Our schools need to be fully funded, especially in our urban districts where resources and support are so desperately needed. We must get rid of the Common Core standards, as they are developmentally inappropriate and only serve for the purpose of making money for a select few corporations, big businesses, and philanthropists who know nothing about education. Give local control back to districts so they can decide how to best serve their students and communities. We need small class sizes, art, gym, recess music, and everything else that makes well-rounded students. And most importantly, we need to start listening to the experts on education matters, the teachers. You sit in front of us today and listen to our testimonies, as you did yesterday and will do down the road to make up for Tuesday's testimony. But the question remains, what will you do from here? My gut tells me, based on previous experience, as I've testified in front of the state board about 7 or 8 times, that you will leave here today ignoring what we have all said and continue to push your agenda. But the power has shifted. You may be the ones sitting at the table up front, but we, the parents, students, teachers, and communities, are the ones that hold the power. We have power in numbers, we have power in our voices, and most importantly, we have power in our truths. It's our turn to sit at the table up front and demand what we need, want, and deserve for education in the state of New Jersey. You've all underestimated us before, and therefore I advise you recognize the power we hold. If you choose not to recognize our voices, we'll make them heard no matter what.